Hello, I'm Ilan Rubaksh. I am with the Center for Shared Prosperity here at Carnegie Mellon University, and I'm affiliated with both the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences and the Robotics Institute at the School of Computer Science. One big challenge we face at CSP is the question of whether we're trying to use funding for material improvements we need to make now versus long-term advocacy building and structural change. The way we think about this is, first of all, we want to make sure that we're using our funding on structural barriers to equity. Structural in the sense that, do we have long-standing policy or practice issues in our communities that actually increase injustice in our community or delay the possibility of going toward justice? But together with that is the question of systemic change. We want to use the funding we have, because we have this long-term view and the ability to do something not just for a year but for decades if required. We want to use our funding for systemic change. That is to say, can we change the fundamental relationships of how decisions get made or how power is parlayed or how money is spent in ways that systemically change the balance of power toward a better balance of power, toward better justice? And I'll give you an example. If we're spending money on a solution, are we causing the kind of change that has knock-on consequences that causes even more changes toward justice? If we're putting air quality monitors in homes, are we training local residents and paying them to become air quality mentors and advocates and become fluent in advocacy so that they themselves, through the process of democracy, can change the balance of power game around how air pollution is discussed in our communities? That's systemic change. That means training, mentorship, and funding of local citizens so that they become advocates in a way that changes the balance of power. That's what I mean by systemic change. Every project we do, we fundamentally ask that question. Are we causing something systemic, or are we using expensive band-aids that will erode as soon as money runs out for that particular aspect of a project in 10 years because the winds of change happen? Now, we're not intending to have money ever run out, but you still want systemic change. You still want the power of what you're doing to expand over time organically. And so fundamentally, we need to see something that gives us the hope that the work we're doing spreads and progresses and achieves a life of its own. That's systemic.